Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In this video we're talking about Game Boy, PS5, RetroArch, and some retro gaming handhelds. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off here talking about Game Boy emulation on PC with SameBoy. SameBoy just got a brand new update. They're now on version 0.15.5. So this new version of SameBoy brings about some bug fixes and also some accuracy improvements. For accuracy improvements, there should be no more white flashes when you're playing games developed by THQ. And on Coco specifically, save states now work. SameBoy is free, it's open source, and I'll drop a link to this page in the description below, so feel free to check it out. And speaking about free and open source, next up here we're talking about RetroArch, specifically RetroArch on Steam. I would argue this is really big news. RetroArch has just celebrated a massive milestone on Steam. Over 500,000 unique users. That's not 500,000 installs, that's 500,000 unique accounts that are using RetroArch. This is absolutely awesome for emulation, and it goes to show how big emulation is getting. I mean, you don't even have to install RetroArch on Steam in order to enjoy RetroArch. You can pick it up directly from their website. If you pick it up directly from their website, I would also argue it's a better version. You get access to every single one of the cores, as opposed to the Steam version here where it's kind of a pared down version, but then you also get the cloud saves, and that has its own benefits as well. So this is a massive milestone, 500,000 people using RetroArch on Steam. Amazing. Next up here, we're talking about The Legend of Zelda A Link to the Past, arguably one of the best Zeldas of all time, and arguably also one of the best games on the SNES. If you like this game, you're gonna really like this news. A Link to the Past has been successfully reverse engineered, and the re-implementation is up and available on GitHub. It's free, it's open source, and this is gonna open a ton of doors for modding. Now, if you check out this re-implementation, you'll need to provide a copy of your ROM in order for the re-implementation to extract the game's resources, like the levels and images. And this re-implementation is playable from the start all the way to the end. Now I fully expect to hear a ton more about native ports of A Link to the Past to other systems, like the Vita, and there's absolutely nothing that Denuvo can do about it. Next up here, we're talking about the PlayStation 5, a console that's still extremely difficult to purchase, and one that I don't normally ever see available on shelves. Anyways, if you haven't picked one up, lucky you, you now get to pay more for one. Yes, the PS5 is going up in price, unless you're in the States. This information is picked up right from PlayStation's blog. I'll leave a link in the description below in the event that you want to check it out. It's kind of painful to read though. It says PS5 price increase in select markets due to global economic environment, including high inflation prices. So if you're one of the lucky people living in Europe, the UK, Japan, China, Australia, Mexico, or where I am in Canada, well, you get to pay a little bit more for a PS5. In Canada here, the digital edition is a whopping $520. And the normal edition with the disc drive is $650. That is a lot of money. To me, this is kind of a tough pill to swallow. And at the end of this painful message, Sony says, "Thank you for your continued support." I can tell you at this price point, no, you're not getting my support. And if you scroll down even more on Sony's page here, it says, "Join the conversation, but don't be a jerk." So you're allowed to be a jerk to us, but we can't voice our opinions back. This top comment is the best. I already have one of these and I'm still offended by this. And taking a quick peek at some more comments here, "You dumb are out of your mind." WTF is wrong with you? Stop this. Not good. I own a PS5, but this is just insane. L Sony. However, fortunately though, Microsoft was pretty quick to state they have no plans to raise the price for the Series X or the Series S. And interestingly enough, Nintendo said the same thing about the Switch. When Nintendo doesn't look like the bad guy, well, you know you're doing something wrong. Last up here, and definitely not least, we're talking about some retro gaming handhelds. Today, the GPD Win 4 was revealed in all of its glory. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm getting massive PSP vibes from this thing. Maybe a spiritual successor. We don't have the spec sheet just yet, but the Win 4 will have a screen that's 6 inches, and it will be powered by an AMD 6800U. And surprisingly here, it's also going to have a full keyboard and a screen that slides up. I'm not quite sure how I feel about this just yet, and it does look, well, pretty bulky. And another handheld was unveiled today, and that's the Odroid Go Ultra. This one is a little bit interesting. The full spec list is available right on their website, and I'll drop a link to it in the description below, but this brand new Odroid will be powered by an Amlogic S922X. To me, that chip is a little bit of a letdown. So with only 2 gigs of RAM and not the best choice in CPU, here is the full list of systems they plan on supporting. And if you take a look at the bottom here, GameCube is listed. I wouldn't expect GameCube emulation to be that great though. I think it's going to be really hit and miss overall on this. Fortunately, the price tag on this one isn't too hard to swallow. It's coming in at $111, or at least that's the target. I think they know what it can do and what it can't do, and they're not shooting for the stars here in terms of what it can do. Now for another handheld, Anbernic just announced that the RG353V will be their next handheld in their lineup. And this one is interesting. It's going to be basically the exact same as the RG353P, just in a different form factor. And for reference, here's the newly released RG353P. I know with the naming conventions on these things, it can be hard to keep track of what device is which. So unless I'm wrong here, these will be the specs of the new RG353P. It's got the RK3566 and 2 gigs of RAM. In terms of PS2, don't hold your breath. In terms of good GameCube, don't hold your breath. I mean, based on their website, here's the out-of-the-box support they're targeting. And Anbernic also announced another brand new handheld, that seems to be taking on the Miyoo Mini. This is just a render, and it does look a little bit bigger than that Miyoo Mini. It also looks very similar to a Game Boy. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a ton today. Let me know your thoughts about anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.